I pulled into the driveway that Saturday afternoon with balloons tied to my rearview mirror and a wrapped bicycle in my trunk. Liam was turning 7. I'd spent weeks finding the perfect blue mountain bike with training wheels he could remove when he was ready. The house looked festive, streamers hanging from the porch, children's laughter spilling through open windows. I walked up the front steps holding the gift, my heart warm with anticipation. Then Claire opened the door. Her smile vanished the second she saw me. "You're not welcome here," she said, blocking the entrance with her body. My son Tom stood behind her, eyes fixed on the floor. I blinked, certain I'd misheard. "What?" Claire's voice dropped lower, colder. "You heard me, leave." Behind her I could see Liam's friends running past, hear the birthday song starting. My grandson was somewhere inside and I wasn't allowed to see him. Guests on the lawn had stopped talking, staring at us. My hands went numb around the gift. I stood there frozen, the weight of humiliation pressing down on my chest like concrete. This was the boy I'd held in the hospital the night he was born, the child I'd rocked to sleep during difficult nights when Tom and Claire needed rest. I'd been there for every milestone, every fever, every scraped knee. Now I was being turned away like a stranger. Tom finally looked up, his face pale and conflicted, but he said nothing. He just stood there, letting it happen. My throat tightened. I wanted to push past them, to demand answers, to see my grandson, but the eyes of other parents watching from the yard stopped me. I wouldn't make a scene at Liam's party. I turned slowly, walking back to my car with as much dignity as I could gather. Through the front window, I caught a glimpse of Liam's confused face pressed against the glass, his small hand raised in a wave I couldn't return. I drove home in silence, the balloon still bobbing in my rearview mirror like a cruel joke. My house felt emptier than usual. I'd raised Tom here alone after his mother passed when he was 9. Every room held memories of scraped-together dinners, homework at the kitchen table, late-night talks about girls and dreams and fears. I'd given him everything I had, worked double shifts at the factory to pay for his college, stood beside him when he married Claire 5 years ago. And this was what I got. Later that evening I drove back to Tom's house. I needed answers. He met me on the porch, door half closed behind him like I might force my way in. "Dad, I'm sorry," he started, but his voice lacked conviction. "Why?" I asked simply. Tom rubbed his face. "Claire thinks. She thinks boundaries are important, that we need space to raise Liam our way." I stared at my son, searching for the boy I'd raised in this stranger's eyes. "Space. Tom, I see him once a month. I babysit when you need me. I've never overstepped." He shifted uncomfortably. "She says you undermine her parenting, that you spoil him." The accusation felt like a slap. I'd bought Liam books, taught him to fish, taken him to the park. Was that spoiling, or was that love? "Did she give you a list of rules?" I asked quietly. Tom's silence was answer enough. Later, after he'd retreated inside, I sat in my car and noticed something on the passenger seat. A folded paper must have fallen from Tom's pocket when he leaned against the door. I unfolded it slowly. "Boundaries for David," the title read in Claire's neat handwriting. Below it, numbered rules. No unannounced visits. No gifts without approval. No contradicting parenting decisions. The final line made my blood run cold. Limit contact to supervised visits only. That night I made a decision. I wouldn't fight Claire with anger or confrontation. I'd fight with the one thing she couldn't control: love. If she wanted to erase me from Liam's life, she'd have to work much harder than that. I opened my laptop and created a new email address, something generic and untraceable. Then I found a toy store website that shipped to schools. Liam had mentioned wanting a specific superhero action figure during our last phone call 3 weeks ago, before the ban. I ordered it, filled out the school's address, and in the gift message wrote simply, "For Liam, someone who loves you very much." No name, no return address, nothing Claire could use to stop it. I hit purchase and leaned back in my chair. It was a small move, barely a ripple, but it was something. I wasn't going to disappear quietly into the background of my grandson's life, not without a fight. The gift arrived at Liam's school on Tuesday. I knew because Tom called that evening, his voice tight with frustration. "Dad, did you send something to Liam's school?" I kept my voice neutral. "Why would you think that?" because Claire's losing it. Some package showed up today and Liam's been asking questions all afternoon. I smiled despite myself. What kind of questions? Tom sighed heavily. He wants to know who sent it. He thinks it might be you. And what did Claire say? She told him it was from a teacher, but he didn't believe her. Good, I thought. Let him question, let him wonder, let him remember that someone out there cared enough to think of him. I don't know what you're trying to do, Tom continued, but Claire's watching everything now. She's talking about changing schools. That caught my attention. You'd uproot Liam because of one gift. She's serious, Dad. Just back off, please. He hung up before I could respond. 2 weeks later, Tom's childhood friend Patricia reached out. We'd stayed in touch over the years, occasional holiday cards and brief updates. She'd heard through mutual friends about what happened at the birthday party. I'm so sorry, she said over coffee. That's not right. I told her everything, the band, the rules, the gift. Patricia listened carefully, her expression growing darker. Claire's always been controlling, she said finally. But this is extreme. She leaned forward. I want to help. How? Let me talk to Tom, see what's really going on. And if you need someone to pass along gifts or messages, I'm here. I felt something loosen in my chest. An ally, someone who understood. Patricia became my eyes and ears, quietly observing family gatherings I was no longer invited to, reporting back on Liam's well-being, on Tom's growing discomfort with Claire's demands. She never pushed, never confronted, just watched and listened. And slowly, carefully, she began planting seeds of doubt. Another family event came and went without me, Liam's school play. I found out through Patricia who'd been invited by Tom. He asked about you, she told me afterward. During intermission, he asked his dad why Grandpa wasn't there. What did Tom say? That you were busy, but Liam didn't believe him. He's old enough now to sense something's wrong. That night, I started writing letters. Long, detailed letters about our family history. About Tom's childhood, about his mother and how much she would have loved Liam. I wrote about values and kindness and standing up for what's right. I wrote about love that doesn't demand conditions. I addressed them to Liam but mailed them to Patricia's house. She promised to find ways to slip them to him, maybe tucked in a library book, maybe left in his backpack during a playdate. Small breadcrumbs leading back to me. Weeks turned into months. I kept sending gifts through untraceable channels, kept writing letters, kept building an invisible bridge to my grandson. Then one afternoon I took a risk. Liam's school was hosting a volunteer reading program and I signed up under my middle name, James. No one connected me to Liam. I was just another grandfather wanting to help. The first day I walked into that classroom, I saw him immediately. He'd grown taller, his face more serious than I remembered. When it was his turn to read, he stumbled over a word. I leaned in gently, helped him sound it out, watched his confidence return. For 30 minutes I got to be near him again. After class, Liam lingered. You remind me of someone, he said quietly. My heart hammered. Oh, who's that? My grandpa. I don't get to see him anymore. I kept my voice steady. I'm sure he misses you very much. Liam nodded sadly and walked away. That night, Claire showed up at my door. I'd been expecting this eventually. Her face was flushed with anger, her hands clenched at her sides. Stay away from Liam's school, she hissed. I know what you're doing. I leaned against the doorframe, calm. I'm volunteering to help children read, that's all. You're manipulating him, you're trying to turn him against me. I haven't said a word against you, Claire. I've only shown up and cared about kids who need help reading. Her eyes flashed. You think you're clever, but I will not let you poison my son's mind. I'm his grandfather, I said quietly. That's not poison, that's family. She stepped closer, voice dropping to something almost threatening. You're nothing to him now, accept it. But as she turned to leave, I noticed something. Her hands were shaking. Beneath the anger, there was fear. She was losing control of the narrative, and she knew it. The cracks were starting to show. Tom called the next morning. For the first time in months, he sounded uncertain. Dad, we need to talk. We met at a diner halfway between our houses. He looked exhausted, older than his 32 years. Claire wants me to cut you off completely, he said. No calls, no contact, nothing. I stirred my coffee slowly. And what do you want? He was quiet for a long time. I don't know anymore. She says you're undermining us. But Liam keeps asking about you. He's not sleeping well. Last night he cried because he misses you. My chest tightened. Then let me see him. I can't. Claire will what? I interrupted. Leave you, use Liam as a weapon. Tom, look at what's happening. You're letting her erase me from your son's life because she's uncomfortable with love that doesn't come through her. His eyes welled up. I don't know how to fix this. Start by remembering who raised you, I said gently, and ask yourself what kind of father you want to be. Something shifted after that conversation. Tom didn't immediately stand up to Claire, but I could feel him questioning, doubting, watching more carefully. Patricia confirmed it. He's starting to see the patterns, she told me. The way Claire controls every interaction, monitors every relationship. Meanwhile, I continued my quiet campaign. Another gift arrived at school, this time a book about grandfathers and grandsons. Liam carried it everywhere for a week. Claire tried to take it away, but Tom intervened. It was a small victory, but significant. I all started attending Liam's soccer games, sitting far in the back where Claire wouldn't notice. Just watching, just being present. One Saturday, Liam scored his first goal. He looked into the stands, searching. When his eyes found mine, his whole face lit up. I raised my hand in a small wave. He waved back, grinning. Across the field, Claire followed his gaze. Our eyes met. She looked away first. Liam's 8th birthday was approaching. I knew I wouldn't receive an invitation, but Patricia did. She's planning something big, Patricia warned. Trying to prove she's the perfect mother, the perfect family. Let her, I said. I had my own plans. I'd spent months preparing, gathering every gift Liam had ever mentioned wanting, writing notes for each one, building a collection that told a story of consistent, unwavering love. I wrapped each present carefully, attached tags that said "From Grandpa," and stored them in my garage. When the time was right, when the moment presented itself, I'd make sure Liam knew exactly who'd been thinking of him all along. 2 weeks before the party, something unexpected happened. Claire called. "You can come to the birthday," she said, her voice clipped and formal. "But there are conditions." I waited. "You bring one small gift. You stay for 1 hour. You don't undermine me in front of guests." I smiled. "I'll be there." The morning of Liam's 8th birthday, I loaded my truck carefully. Not one small gift, but 17 wrapped boxes, each labeled clearly with my name. I documented every present, every thoughtful choice, every moment I'd spent thinking about my grandson while being kept away. I arrived exactly on time. The party was already in full swing, the backyard filled with children and parents. Claire stood near the gift table, her smile plastic and tight. When she saw my truck, her expression faltered. I started unloading boxes. "What are you doing?" she hissed, rushing over. "Bringing gifts for my grandson," I said calmly. "We agreed on one." "You agreed, I simply said I'd be here." I carried the first load past her, setting them carefully on the gift table. Other parents watched, confused but curious. Tom appeared, his eyes widening. "Dad, these are from the past year," I explained loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "Every birthday, every holiday I missed. Every time I thought about Liam and wanted him to know." Claire's face had gone pale. "You can't what? Love my grandson." I made 3 trips to my truck, bringing in box after box. Each one had a tag, "To Liam, love Grandpa." The gift table overflowed with them, a visible testament to steady, persistent love. Claire tried to maintain composure, but I could see panic flickering behind her eyes. Other parents started whispering, putting pieces together. One woman approached me. "You're Liam's grandfather. I haven't seen you at any events." "I wasn't invited," I said simply. Her eyebrows rose. She glanced at Claire, then back at me, understanding dawning. The whispers spread. Claire tried to redirect attention, clapping her hands and calling kids to play games, but the damage was done. The narrative she'd carefully constructed, the perfect family image, was cracking in real time. Tom stood frozen near the fence, watching everything unfold. When our eyes met, I saw something I hadn't seen in months: recognition. He finally saw what was happening. He finally understood what she'd done. Liam found me by the gift table. He stared at the mountain of presents, his eyes wide with wonder and confusion. "Grandpa, you came." I knelt down to his level. "I wouldn't miss your birthday for anything." His voice dropped to a whisper. "Mom said you were too busy to come to stuff anymore." The words hit me like a physical blow. I kept my voice gentle. "I've never been too busy for you, buddy. Never." He looked at the gifts, then back at me. "Are these really all from you?" "Every single one. I've been thinking about you every day." His eyes filled with tears. I missed you so much." He threw his arms around my neck, holding tight. I hugged him back, feeling a year's worth of pain and love and determination pour out in that embrace. Around us, the party had gone quiet. Every parent, every child, every family member was watching this reunion. And Claire stood apart, isolated by her own choices, unable to spin this moment into something it wasn't. The cake came out, decorated with Liam's favorite cartoon characters. Everyone sang, but Liam kept looking at me, making sure I was still there, like I might disappear. When it was time to open presents, he went straight for mine. Claire tried to redirect him toward other gifts, but he was determined. He opened the first box, a model rocket kit we could build together. The tag read, "For all the adventures we'll share. Love, Grandpa." He read it aloud, his voice filled with emotion. Then another box, a fishing rod. The tag, "For quiet mornings by the lake. Love, Grandpa." Box after box, each one a promise, a memory waiting to happen, a declaration that I'd never stopped caring. Other children gathered around, impressed by the haul. Their parents watched Claire's discomfort grow with each reveal. One father leaned toward his wife, speaking just loud enough for me to hear. "That's dedication right there." Where was he? As Liam unwrapped a skateboard, his hand suddenly stopped. He looked up at Claire, his young face serious in a way that made him seem older. "Mom," he asked, his voice cutting through the party noise, "why is Grandpa's name on all these gifts?" The backyard went silent. Every eye turned to Claire. She opened her mouth, closed it, her face cycling through expressions: shock, anger, calculation, panic. "Well, sweetheart, She glanced at Tom, seeking support, but he was staring at Liam, waiting for her answer too. "Grandpa he brought a lot of presents today, that's all." "But why haven't I seen him?" Liam pressed. "You said he was busy, but he has time to get me all this stuff." Claire's voice turned sharp. "Liam, this isn't the time." "I think it's exactly the time," Tom said quietly. Everyone turned to him. He stepped forward, his jaw set. "Dad was invited today because your mother decided it was okay. But he wasn't at your last birthday, or Christmas, or any of your soccer games." Tom's voice grew stronger. "Your grandfather has been trying to see you for over a year. He sent gifts to your school. He's volunteered just to be near you. He's written you letters." Liam's eyes went huge. "Letters?" I reached into my jacket and pulled out the stack Patricia had been saving, the ones she hadn't found the right moment to deliver. "These are for you," I said, handing them to him. "I wrote them so you'd know I was thinking about you, even when I couldn't be there." Liam clutched them like treasure. He looked at Claire, betrayal crossing his young face. "You said he didn't want to see me anymore." The words hung in the air like an accusation. Claire's face crumbled. "I never said that exactly. I said—" "You lied," Liam said, his voice breaking. "You told me Grandpa was too busy, but he wasn't. You just didn't want him here." She reached for him, but he stepped back, moving closer to me. The rejection was visible, painful. Around us, parents shifted uncomfortably, witnesses to a private family destruction. Claire's voice turned desperate. "I was protecting you. I was trying to set healthy boundaries. Your grandfather doesn't respect my parenting decisions." "What decisions?" Tom asked, his voice hard. "The decision that he couldn't see his grandson, that he had to sneak gifts to school, that Liam had to grow up thinking his grandfather abandoned him." "Tom, you agreed." "I was wrong," Tom said firmly. The words seemed to cost him, but he didn't back down. "I let you convince me that Dad was the problem, but he wasn't. He never was." Claire looked around wildly, seeking allies among the guests, but found only uncomfortable stares and disapproving frowns. Her carefully constructed image, her control over the family narrative, was collapsing in real time. She'd isolated herself through her own choices. One mother gathered her child and quietly moved toward the exit. Then another family. The party was dissolving around her. "Everyone please," Claire started, but her voice had lost its authority. No one was listening anymore. Tom walked over to me, Liam between us. "Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have stood up for you months ago. I should have seen what was happening." I put my hand on his shoulder. "You're seeing it now, that's what matters." Liam looked up at me, his eyes red from crying. "Can I come to your house again, like before?" "Anytime you want, buddy, anytime at all." He hugged me again and Tom joined us, the three generations finally reconnected. Over Liam's head, Tom mouthed, "Thank you." Patricia approached with tears in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "You got your family back." I looked around the backyard at the pile of gifts representing a year of persistent love, at my son finally finding his backbone, at my grandson holding my letters like lifelines. This wasn't about victory over Claire. This was about something more important, proving that love, real love, doesn't give up. It finds a way, it waits, it persists, and eventually truth rises to the surface. Claire stood alone by the dessert table, her perfect party in ruins, confronted by the consequences of trying to erase someone who refused to be forgotten. The party ended early. Most guests left quickly, the tension too uncomfortable, but I stayed, helping clean up, talking quietly with Liam about fishing trips and building projects and all the time we'd make up. Tom pulled me aside as the sun started setting. "Claire and I need to talk, really talk, but I want you to know, Dad, you're not being cut out again, ever." I nodded, feeling weight I'd carried for months finally lift. "Just be the father you know how to be. That's all I ask." As I drove home that evening, my phone buzzed with a text from Liam. Sent from Tom's phone. "I love you, Grandpa. Can we build the rocket this weekend?" I smiled, typing back, "Absolutely, I've been waiting." In the rearview mirror, I could see my reflection, a man who'd spent a year fighting quietly, patiently, with nothing but love as a weapon. Some battles aren't won with anger or force. They're won with persistence, with showing up, with refusing to let distance define connection. I'd been banned, excluded, erased from invitations, but I was never gone. And now, finally, everyone knew it.